I am very excited to be here with Hildur Jónsdóttir, a fellow Icelander, to talk about what's been going on this year in your life and business. This has been quite a year for all of us, but there's a blessing in disguise for many online entrepreneurs who have used the opportunity to break away and really take advantage of people actually being online and wanting to go more online and seeking advice, and not the least about health. Strengthening your immune system has been something that people are working on and want to be working on. So Hildur, welcome, very welcome.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
So
like you say, the health is a crucial subject these months and days. And I just recently got to experience that kind of on my own skin, because sadly, half of my family got COVID, and they've been struggling, and they are thankfully they are getting out of it right now. But they are still very weak. But I was with them the days before, and for some reason, I did not get infected. So I have a very strong immune system through my program. So I wonder now, did that affect? So
you wonder, and at the same time, it's probably not. You can't really sell your program.
No.
Protecting someone or even healing someone, that's the tricky part about helping with health.
But the interesting part is really what I think now is the researchers have to go also towards the people that do not get sick. There is something different there. So hopefully they will.
We'll have to figure that out. Yeah, it's all... They're trying to work as fast as they can. At the same time, everything is taking more time than we want. But where was your business at the start of this year? Describe your online business. You have done quite had quite a growth period this year. But let's go back to the beginning of this year.
Yeah, I would want to take it a little further back, because I start with following you and your programs in January 2018. Then I had a very successful business already, which was around 200,000 revenue in a year. And this was kind of I want to build something on my own, which is more like my product. The other company is with my husband. And I started kind of slowly, I felt. And so the first year I just made 20,000 or something. And then the year after I made 4 times that. And now again, I have 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure where it ends this year.
You keep on quadrupling your business.
But luckily, what I did is that now my business is taking over our income, because my husband and our other company is in the arts, and that has completely vanished in these months. Now I'm helping him to go online now, and he had his first launch a month ago, and he made 30,000 in his very first course. So
and it's
so this is definitely the way to go now.
Yeah, it is. Your husband has it's like puppets, right?
Yeah, he is a puppet master. Yeah,
puppet master. What a unique title and career and business. And you say he's internationally known for this craft.
In his field, he is one of the leading person and artists. So he has a big following. So of course that helped with his first launch. But of course this is also new, but thankfully he has my formula that I have from you. So he just followed that and had a great success.
Yeah, that's amazing. So his business kind of he couldn't do any shows or any courses or teach anyone anything.
No, we are usually booked 2 years ahead. We travel about like 4 months a year all over the world with workshops and performances and stuff. And in basically 2 weeks' time in March, everything got cancelled. 2 years ahead, like just, it was amazing.
Wow. Oof. Just gone. Wow.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what a shock that was. At the same time, you're like, hey, my business is taking off. Let's focus on that now.
Yeah. And yeah, thankfully we have had no like difficult times financially because of that. But all people around us are suffering tremendously. So we are very fortunate that we had now started with these two different businesses.
So you could say in hindsight, you had the foresight to start your own business already before, so that it could take off quickly this year.
And it's so sweet. All when the pandemic hit and everyone were like discovering Zoom and like trying to take all meetings over there and stuff. My course participants were so proud, and it's like, we have been working on Zoom with you for 2 years.
Yes, they knew it already. So what happened for you? Did you feel like there was a surge of people wanting to do your courses suddenly, or wasn't there a big shift? Like, what was happening for you back in March?
I have to say that I am not quite sure yet how this will affect my business, because in March we went into really like slowing down. People were a lot doing just like a self-quarantine, and everyone, because Iceland is so small, that we get the message so fast and we just obey. We just go with and adjust so quickly. So everything kind of quiet down. And at the same time, I was doing a launch, and that was my biggest launch because people were home and everyone looking out for courses and stuff. So that was great for me. I had another great launch in May that I wanted to do just quickly, and still it was really great. But
so March and May were good months. March and May were good months for launches because people were mostly inside. But then things started to open up, and everyone enjoyed summer.
Yeah. And but I feel now in the fall. Now we had the third wave of COVID. We have really growing unemployment in Iceland. And I feel that all of a sudden I have always had major conversion rates. And I'm starting to see a little decline in that, especially between my programs, between like foundation program and advanced, that there are not as many jumping over. And I think that is because people are starting to be a little bit concerned with financial aspects. So, yeah. So sadly, we haven't seen everything yet. So it's a good time now that I'm thinking of like, or I am starting to go international.
Yeah, there are two parts to it. Yes, the situation is in Iceland, well, probably in every country, but Iceland is just so small that the effect is felt quicker. That you anyway also said that because you have been doing this now for 2 years and you've had lots of great launches, high conversion rates, you're getting the limit of Facebook ads, 350, 60,000 country. Like when we do Facebook ads, we have 1 million people in our, audience? Yes. So you're hitting the limit now?
Yeah, it is. Facebook is struggling to kind of see or show my ads because I don't have basically any cold audience anymore. It has been shown, and people so it's a big portion of my ideal clients have seen my material. So it is difficult to work with kind of Facebook formulas. So I'm trying to tweak it and just put everything into one group, but it is a challenge now.
Yeah. So yeah, on one hand, it's a small country, and if the economy is not going well, it's not the best place to be, and also the Facebook ads. So you were anyway deciding to go international. How long have you been thinking about that?
Well, when I started my courses over 2 years ago, I did my very first class in English because I thought exactly at that time, Iceland is so small, it's so limited market, and I thought like everyone in Iceland speak English anyhow, and they will just be able to join. Then, of course, doing my first English course, I got 85% Icelanders. And there was such a strong demand right away if I could do this in Icelandic, because surprisingly, there are a lot of people that I thought Icelanders were so advanced with English, but there were a lot of people that were very unsecure. So I decided, since the wave really just came right away, the interest of following my program, I decided to do my second course in Icelandic. And I gave it a year, and I wanted to see, and then I wanted to think about maybe after a year I would start going over to English. I have been very busy in Iceland since then. And but now I think it's really good time, especially the challenges that I felt now this fall. So it was a good time that I had already decided to start now in the fall.
But now it's like starting from scratch a bit.
Yes. But of course, what I do have, which I'm working on now, I'm getting everything translated. So I have the testimonials, and I have the proof in Facebook with my ads. Even though I have to make new audiences, I'm using the same account and stuff. So maybe I have some advantages there. We have to see.
But it's your story that also you have an easier time, I would think, than many others to get into newspapers. You know, you have a fascinating story. Can you kind of give us a quick I know it's a long story. But that's
if I try to summarize it.
Try to summarize your story of why it is so easy for you to get on radio and maybe in a newspaper or a magazine, and this has helped you also grow so well in Iceland, and hopefully you can replicate this also internationally.
I hope so. I will see. There are two things. Of course, it is my story that is very strong, and people love to hear it. The second thing is that I have been running a company in the cultural sector. So I am used to press releases, talking to the media, getting into programs to promote new performances and projects that we are working on. I have been running huge events in Iceland, like big festivals, and being project manager of things like that. So I don't have this fear towards the media.
That's the first step. So listen, guys, not having fear and writing a press release. You know, most online entrepreneurs like, what? Should I write a press release? How does that work? And can I just send it to a radio station?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I have learned to think like, okay, what is catching? What is it? What that media is interested in? So I already have that in my system. But my story is that I have been struggling with my health basically all my life, and the challenges just grew, and I got more and more sick. And it is basically, if you get one autoimmune disease, you are 33% more likely to get another one than the next person. So I was basically collecting them like stamps. Like I had arthritis, I had thyroid disease, I had irritable bowel syndrome. There were so many conditions that I was struggling with, and fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, and so on and so on. And doctors were constantly telling me, like, well, this is untreatable. You have to learn to live with this, and you just have to take your medications. And I was just really not ready to, especially since my health kept on declining. And at like 8 years ago, I was so sick that I saw that I wouldn't be able to basically function in the second part of my life. I would just be a prisoner of my conditions, and I wouldn't be able to enjoy having grandkids and travel, or I saw that I had to let all of that go. So I just kind of rebellious. I was like, I cannot live like this. So of course, I had been so interested in everything concerning health. I had studied myself psychology, and I was very, then it was easy for me to read like articles, research articles and stuff like that. So I was pretty well read myself concerning these connections between lifestyles and all that. And at the same time, there were a lot of new research coming out, which I could, I started to experiment with on myself. And in 2 years' time, I managed to put together a program I followed, and I became symptom-free and got rid of my medications. And for a person...
Like magic.
Yeah, exactly, because I was supposed to have all these incurable diseases, and I would not, if I would go to a doctor today, they would not, what do you say, like sjúkdómsgreining in Iceland.
Yeah, they would not detect it in your system anymore. You say it's completely gone. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so this is, of course, something that I really get into the media with. That is my story. And you say it is like a miracle. And I have to sometimes be careful how I talk about this, because it can also be unbelievable. It's like, oh, this is someone that is just marketing and telling some lies or exaggerating. But this is really the reality.
I think people believe you. You know, there's a lot of scam on the internet. We know that. And there's unbelievable stories. But I think you have this authenticity. And when you tell your story, there is never a single doubt, I think, in people's mind that this is true. Now, of course, as you say, because you got so many diseases, like, how long is the list? How many you think were on the list before you started to get rid of them?
Oh, if I take all these symptoms and conditions that come with it, in my presentation, I can easily fill 2 slides with it, like with 2 columns on each slide. So it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But here you are. You are. And not that we want to promise the world or anything, but you just told me before that your whole family got COVID and you didn't.
No.
Do you think it's based on your or how you live your life today?
I think it has to have something to do with it. Like when I get sick, of course, I can get the flu and stuff. In my earlier years, if I got sick, it took me several weeks to get better. I was always with this, and my system just couldn't cope. So it ended up that I had to take medicines and stuff like that. Now I get severe flus and stuff. I even got the swine flu in India. Like, and I was stopped. I couldn't leave the country. And they said, you have to stay here for another week at least. You have to be symptom-free before you travel and stuff. In 1.5 days, I had gotten over it. I had no symptoms more. I was really sick for 1.5 days. But then, and they were amazed. And after 2 days, they said, sure, you can fly home.
Yeah.
So this just shows how the immune system is supposed to work. If we have really the right condition, I think.
Yeah.
And I am seeing this repeatedly. Of course, people work with me for extended time to improve their health. And this is the same pattern I see repeatedly, that people, they have maybe condition that they are constantly struggling with some infections and the body doesn't handle it. In 6 months' time, they go through the same as me. They get sick and they feel it for half a day or a day.
Yeah.
So why not?
You're not saying you're immune or anything like that. But
no.
And just this is also not what it's not your focus to say, oh, come to me because I'll strengthen your immune system. You are focused on people with similar diseases that you have, like the autoimmune disease, like people who constantly go to the doctor and there's no hope somehow. So then they look for alternative methods, and then that's where you step in.
Yeah, and people are very often just completely hopeless at the time they come to me. They've tried everything. They've tried all the diets, all the holistic methods, all the research, all the doctors, etc., etc. And what I am it's so important to me. I was just talking to a client this morning that told me that she had been going through doctors for years. And it was always like they immediately took up the pen and a paper and wanted to describe them some antidepressant. It's like, it must be something mental since we cannot help and nothing works. It must be depression. And she has now been working with me for 5 weeks, and she is almost getting like all her symptoms have really reduced. And she is so frustrated of like, why is this possible? And I've been struggling with this for 20, 30 years. Yeah. So of course, but I'm so hopeful that this will change in our health system. For the next 20, 30 years, it's going to completely change. If the drug companies don't get in there and cut between what I'm talking about and try to just create drugs to get the shortcut.
Well, now we have the internet, and people can get information much more easily and cheaply than before. So if there really are other alternative solutions that actually work, it is much easier to get them out there.
And absolutely, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the internet, because I wouldn't have I wouldn't have had the possibilities of getting all the data to find my way to health.
So one of the things that you do so brilliantly in your online business are the high conversion rates on your webinars. And we've talked about, previously, what it is that you do. It is, again, your story.
Yes, absolutely. And the strongest thing is that people connect so much to my story. They see themselves in my story, and there is finally some hope of finding a different way and hopefully path to recovery. So that is, of course, I think that is the strongest, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm sure also, like, we can use all kind of ways that I do to try to draw them in, to communicate with them during the webinar, warm them really up before the webinar. So of course, we all have these methods, but of course, it is unique to share such a deep experience, personal experience that I'm working with, and which is, of course, my passion to be able to help as many, because this is such a personal thing for me.
I think it's not just your story. You said it yourself. Your passion. You genuinely want to help other people not to have the same experience you had, to look so long for answers. And we can all feel that you want to help.
And I want to change the healthcare system. I want to change the approach. I want to change the awareness of doctors. So I see a very high goals that I want to achieve, of course, with my work.
Hildur has big goals. Now you're going international. You have a webinar November 12th. And that's going to be the kickoff. So we're going to be cheering you on, all of us, for you going Hildur goes global, I saw in the comments. Hildur goes global. Yeah. We need you. We need you international. People have been asking about your courses in English. And then you have to start to teach healthcare professionals too.
Yeah, I see that in the future, hopefully, that this will be possible.
Yeah.
And but until then, if people wanna find me, then easiest is on Facebook, Hildurs Health Mastery. That is my program now in English.
Yeah. Hildurs Health Mastery. Go and check it out. And her workshop on November 12th. Hildur, it's been great to connect. I'm glad you didn't get COVID. I'm sorry your family had to go through it. And all the best to Iceland. And I'm looking forward to see you go international. Thank you so much
for
today.
Thank you for all your support.